I know, right? Need this desperately.
Do you want me to start?
Yeah.
Okay. Hello, I am Bobbi Molokken, in counseling service. Trauma responsive yoga, which is the type of yoga that I am trained in, is slightly different from regular yoga. I'll share a little bit about that. The kind of why of doing it is that when we have just stressful or traumatic events, that leads to our nervous system having responses to that. Oftentimes in modern day, our body doesn't get a chance to discharge that. So if my body is preparing to fight a bear, which is primitive survival skills that comes from, a lot of times the things that we are responding to in our daily life nowadays are not actual bears attacking us. And so our body never gets to finish kind of that stress response cycle. And over time, that has an impact on our physical body. We actually have learned in some recent years that with trauma, our fascia in our body can quite literally change. And so as much as talk therapy can be helpful, we can talk all day and that's not going to help release that fascia and tension that's physically in your body. And so for me, that's what is appealing about having some kind of other healing modalities that can be done that. And so obviously within the last few years, lots has been happening in our world. We've all had kind of an increase in stress and trauma responses due to that. That would be expected. And so engaging this kind of practice provides a way for us to ground ourselves, and you to engage in those movements. You will have choices that are offered about how you want to engage in those movements. You are in full control, so if there's ever any movements that you don't feel comfortable doing, or if you have any physical injuries or other limitations, you are welcome to just adapt, do whatever movements feel comfortable for you. You can just skip it, you can repeat something we've already done, or just do whatever feels natural for your body at any point in time. I'm not going to be watching you or correction. I'm going to just be doing the movements along with you. And again, please adapt as you see needed. I have kind of adapted this to work in this space, so we'll mostly be doing some sitting kind of movements and just a tiny bit of standing. You may want to take off shoes if that makes you feel more comfortable, but that's completely up to you. For anything we're doing today, you're not going to need, really great grip or things like that. So we'll start with just kind of diving into some opportunities for movement, and then I'll wrap things up with a meditation that you're welcome to join me in if you would like. And so we will start just kind of sitting in your chairs. If your feet are able to touch the floor, you can kind of place your feet on the floor. Your hands can either be just resting on your knees, or if it feels comfortable, you can kind of bring your palms together in front of your chest. And we can just kind of take a moment, and it can be good to just get yourself oriented to your surroundings. So just maybe look around you and notice where you're at in relation to the space, anything that's behind, next to you, before this. And then if it feels comfortable for you, you could choose to close your eyes. Just notice your breath and what it's doing without forcing it to do anything in particular. And then you can just place your hands on your knees to rest. And then I would invite you, if you'd like to explore, you can just take your ear down towards your shoulder on one side or the other, any amount, that feels okay. And you have a choice to either just stay here for a while, or if you'd like some movement, you can gently roll your neck forward into the other side. And so either at whatever pace feels comfortable, you can move back and forth, or you can just choose stillness and start on one side and then in a bit kind of switch to the other side. You shouldn't feel any stretches. It might feel some discomfort, but it shouldn't be painful. And then the next option is to just bring your shoulders up towards your ears, kind of any amount. And again, you can choose stillness, or if you'd like some movement, you can roll those shoulders down your back and kind of press downward. And you can alternate between those options. Or the other choice is just to choose stillness in one and then switch about halfway through. As we're moving throughout this, whatever choices you're making, I would just encourage you to try to make sure that you keep them balanced on both sides of your body or both options. And just make sure to check in with your breath every so often, just noticing that you're breathing, not trying to force it. And then the next option is you could take your hands and bring them straight up over your head with palms facing each other. Or the other option here is you can interlace your fingers, press your palms forward, and then bring your arms up with palms facing up towards the ceiling. So you can choose either of those, or you could try both if you wanted. If you need to ever feel like you need to add in some movement, that's totally okay. Continuing to check in with your breath. And then you can release your arms and bring them down to the side. If you need to shake them out a little bit, that's totally okay. The next option is you can bring your arms kind of straight out with your palms facing upward. And again, you can choose stillness here, or if you'd like some movement, you could bring your wrists and elbows together in front of you, and then you could bring them back out at whatever pacing feels okay. Check to make sure that you're not holding your breath at any time. Sometimes that's our default to want to do so. And then you can bring your arms down to rest. And then the next option, if it's available to you, you can take your ankle and place it on your knee. If that's not available, you can just kind of hold your foot anywhere along your leg that works for you, or mend as you need to. And then once you feel situated, if you want, you can explore with just applying a little bit of pressure to your knee, seeing if maybe it could be straightened out a little bit more. Or you could even lean forward any amount and just explore how, if at all, that might feel different for you in your body, just by adjusting how you're leaning or sitting. And you can choose to do some of these with your eyes open or closed. You can also explore with just choosing, if your eyes are open, choosing a different place to set your gaze. It can be interesting to notice how different things feel just from changing where you're looking. And then when you're ready, you can sit back up, release that leg down to the floor, and then you can try that on the other side. So taking your opposite ankle to rest on your knee or anywhere along your calf that works for you. If you'd like, you could apply some pressure to kind of straighten out that knee, or lean forward any amount. You might notice that some things feel differently on one side of your body than the other. That might be normal for you, or you might notice if you engage in this practice regularly that one day things feel different than the other, or maybe even consistently they do. And just continue to notice your breathing. And then when you're ready, you can release and bring that foot to the floor. And then for the next option, you might need to scoot forward a little bit in your chair, depending. If you can place your feet flat on the floor. And then the option is to take one of your hands and kind of reach down towards the floor. And then my opposite arm can come back any amount, kind of straight up. So I should have kind of a nice stretch across my chest area. Again, whatever amount feels okay for you. And just shift or add some movement here, that's okay. And then very slowly bring your arm down and kind of bring yourself back to sitting. Just give yourself a moment to adjust. Anytime we're leaning forward, sometimes we can get lightheaded, so we just want to take our time. And then once you feel stable, you can try that on the opposite side, reaching one arm down towards the floor, and the other can reach up towards the ceiling, any amount. You may feel kind of a twist across your body. Twists can be really good to help us to just kind of wake up all those organs inside. And then when you're ready, you can very slowly bring yourself back to sitting. And then for the next option, I would invite you to stand. And so if you're able to stand just a few inches in front of your chair, and we're going to keep our chair behind us, but we aren't going to sit in it. We're just going to use it there kind of as a guide. And so you want to have your feet maybe about shoulders distance apart. And then if it feels okay for you, you can just bend your knees as if you're going to sit in the chair, but we're not going to sit all the way down. And then if you feel stable here, you could explore with bringing your arms up straight overhead with palms kind of facing each other about shoulders distance apart. And so I'm just kind of hovering as if I'm going to sit in the chair without sitting all the way down. And if you need to move at all, that's okay. If you notice some trembling in your body, that's also totally okay. If that feels tolerable, it can actually be good to just allow your body to shake a little bit and get some of that energy discharged. And then when you're ready, you can just bring your knees kind of back to standing. Bring your hands down to your sides. And then if you're able, you can bring your feet together with kind of toes and heels touching. If they need to be a few inches apart, that's okay too. And then take your shoulders and just roll them back. And then we're just going to engage in some standing here. And so you can just kind of have your hands down at your sides and just try to stand with good posture. And this is a good time to just check in with your breath and notice what it's doing. Also just notice all the muscles that are engaging in your body, in your toes, your feet, all the parts of your legs, your core, your shoulders. While it seems like simply standing should not take much effort, when we pay attention, we can usually notice just how many different muscle groups are active to help us to stand. And then if it feels okay for you, you could take your hands and bring them up overhead and your palms can come together. And then if you'd like, you can explore with bending just a little bit at your waist. So we're not gonna stick our hip out, but we're just gonna bend just a little bit at the waist. Any amount. And if you needed more movement here, you could do that. Otherwise, you can just kind of go to one side for a bit. Then we can come back to center, and then we can try bending on the other side, any amount. Again, bending at the waist. It might feel some stretch in the side body. And then when you're ready, you can come back to center. And your hands can slowly come down to your sides. And then I would invite you to sit. And you could just sit again with your feet kind of flat on the floor. And then if it feels okay for you, you can join me. I'm going to read a meditation, and you can either repeat kind of what I'm saying to yourself internally, or if you want to say that out loud, that's okay too. First, just you can close your eyes if that's comfortable for you, and just notice your breath, whatever it's doing right now in this moment. And then expand your awareness from your breath to your entire body. And then I'll begin. You can repeat these phrases to yourself or out loud if you'd like. This is me. I am thankful for this body. I am thankful for this mind. I am thankful for this spirit. I am doing the best I can in life. May my body, mind, and spirit be healthy. May my body, mind, and spirit be safe. May my body, mind, and spirit be honored and loved. May I honor myself. May I love myself. And then you can just take a moment and let that sink in for you. And then imagine your circle of awareness extending to this group or to somebody else in your life that you might want to include right now. And then you can repeat these phrases to yourself or out loud if you'd like. That is you. I am thankful for your body. I am thankful for your mind. I am thankful for your spirit. I know that you are doing the best you can in life. May your body, mind, and spirit be safe. May your body, mind, and spirit be honored and loved. I honor you. I like you. So just take a moment and kind of accept those messages. And then as you're ready, you can slowly open your eyes, bring your awareness back into this space. You may want to take a moment, just kind of, again, orient yourself looking around you and where you're at. Maybe listening to any sounds that you might hear around you. And just kind of slowly bringing yourself back present into the space that we're in right now in this moment. And then just take a moment and notice, does your body or any other part of you feel any different than it did when we started this practice briefly? And just kind of take note of that. And then one last thing is just check in with yourself and notice, is there any word or phrase that kind of comes to mind for something that you're noticing about how you're feeling right now, or something that you noticed during this practice? Anybody care to share their word or phrase that came up for them?
Oh my God.
Slow. That was my word too. My brain is always very fast, and so yoga is actually one of the few things that gets my brain to slow down. So, anyone else? If you're interested, I printed off a few just like visual cues. These are usually just what I use to keep on track with the band, but if you want to practice this on your own, again, it's maybe about a 15-minute or so, depending how long you've done with them, if that's helpful. There's a few on the piano over there you can take if you would like. So, thanks.
Thank you. We've had fun with